Hai, salam sejahtera. Selamat datang. Welcome everyone to our live episode of Kita Family Podcast. Before I introduce today's episode, let me just recap what Kita Family is all about. Di podcast Kita Family, kami akan membincangkan perihal yang berkaitan dengan makna serta kepentingan hidup bermasyarakat, menghargai keunikan serta kepelbagaian sesama kita dan meraihkan masyarakat kita yang berbilang agama, kaum, kepercayaan rupa dan juga keupayaan. Kita menghargai hidup secara inklusif yang mengambil kira segenap lapisan masyarakat, terutamanya bagi mereka yang kurang dan berkelainan upaya. Kita Family sangat berbesar hati kerana episod ini dibawa dan ditaja oleh Axon Children Center. Dan hari ini kami berada di Axon Adventure Day 2025. Dan panel kami pada hari ini terdiri daripada saya, Desiree dari Kita Family Podcast, dan Nori, also from Kita Family Podcast, among other things. Hai, Assalamualaikum. And our very special guest today is Nadirah Mannan, who is the chairman of Axon Children Center. She is also an audiologist by profession, but I think most importantly today, if I may say, she is kakak, right? Mm-hmm. A sibling to two twin neurodivergent brothers. And as she ventured into motherhood, she also has a son who is autistic. And today she's here with us as the chairman of Axon Children's Center. And we will be talking about a topic that is very close to all of our hearts. Here, I think in this room, I can say very confidently that we all value a supportive ecosystem. So we'll talk a little bit about that, what it means to each and every one of us, and the fact that Axon has this very interesting thing called Axon Superfamilies, which I believe most of you here today would have experienced that today at the Adventure Day. And we'll also talk a little bit about PLAs, Personal Learning Assistance, towards the end before we wrap up. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go right into it. We'll start with our guests. So from Axon's perspective, what is a supportive ecosystem for neurodivergent families look like?
Thank you, Desiree. Assalamualaikum as well for everyone. And, it's a really great honor to be here, to be sharing the platform. Just before I answer your question, if you don't mind, I just want to share that, I feed on empowering women, and you guys both are that. So, thank you for having this platform. If I may recall, Nori, maybe you do not remember, but I actually met you back in 2016. When you first...
As a gym launch.
At a gym launch. We were at the Spectrum Gym, and I was already inspired by your work because, back then I actually just came back from Melbourne where I did my master's and practiced there as an audiologist. And coming back, trying to also support my brothers, as Desiree mentioned, to know that somebody else is already stopping a gym, when, back then it's already so hard for neurodivergent families to support them and to facilitate their intervention. So having someone to come up with that gym is just very inspiring. So thank you for that. And Desiree, when I got to know about you starting your own project, Hans, it takes a lot of effort. To just find out resources for everyone, because as much as we are in the digital age, which is actually the theme for our Axon Adventure Day today, Innovation for Inclusion, where, we really should utilize our resources and technology. So I think you've been doing that through your platform. So thank you for this. So, enough buttering up, I guess. So,
you are too kind.
Agreed. But thank you for having us. Like I said, I just speak from this inspiring stories because that's what is Axon Superfamilies Network is all about, actually, because we want to inspire and empower other family members as well. But before I go there, if I share a bit about Axon Children's Center, so it's basically aimed to be a one-stop child development center where we have two distinct programs. So we have therapy and child development, whereby we have a multidisciplinary team of professionals. We have child psychiatrists, clinical psychologists, audiologists, myself, and then we have occupational therapists, speech language therapists, Who else we have? We have dietitian as well, and even, of course, special needs educators. So we all work together for diagnosis, assessment, and intervention. I mean, of course, we start with assessment and then diagnosis. We actually see not just children, but also up to adults. Okay? And then, as we know, with neurodivergent or special needs individuals, life it should not always be about attending therapies. Yes. It's not always about, going to OT, SP, or even other therapy as well. So, that's why we also have an Axon Therapeutic Preschool. So, this ATP program is actually giving them a chance to let children be children, which is our tagline at Axon Children's Center. We are trying to give them a real life school experience, because why can't they? Right? Because we know they're not ready maybe for mainstream school, but through this ATP or Axon Therapeutic Preschool program, we give them a chance to be in school with other special needs children. While it's not inclusive, but we facilitate and support them so that they can be in the real world as well soon. And just to add on, with this program, they get to have sports day, fast-paced celebration, Teachers' Day celebration. Because if you're already doing therapy, when are you going to have a Teachers' Day celebration?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and of course, year-end concert. So it's so that's how we try to incorporate all this, not just education, but also early intervention through that child and development support, and from that, it builds up to the Axon Superfamilies Network, where we are not only supporting the children, but the families as well. So yeah, that's about how they come to that.
So I love that your tagline is "Let children be children," and it sounds from your description like Axon aims to give neurodivergent children the experience that they would get in any school, right? And I think with many therapy centers, there's always a lot, and it's not a criticism of the others. Everyone is doing their best, right? But I think how Axon is doing things differently is creating those extra, which technically is not extra. If you look at it, the Hari Gurus and the sports days. And I think that's very important for our children to have those experiences in an environment where they feel safe and supported, and they can be who they are. Right? So thank you, Axon, for doing that.
So, I was, Nadira, I think your interest or just your expression, kindness to both me and Desiree is maybe we're all similar-ish. We had our family members motivate us to get into the work that we do. So we also want to, salute you and share our appreciation for what you do. Thank you for asking Kita Family to collaborate with you today. So we're really thrilled to have you on this episode. So let's get back to talking about the sort of supporting and building community, right? So Superfamilies Network, I want to hear a little bit more about it. So, considering that Axon has already, it's got quite a thorough and full-fledged program at least from the child's perspective and that experience of what you want to give, in the context of education and care and therapy, and it's multidisciplinary, all those things are there.
Yeah.
But why did you feel you had to also do something for the families of the kids or the families who are part of Axon, right? I mean, at Kita Family, we talk about this quite a bit, and it is very important to us. I mean, we keep speaking about our village. It takes a village to raise a child. Then when you have a child who needs a little bit more support, then your village kena sebesar-besar mungkin, right? It's got to be the biggest village ever. But if you can share with us what was maybe the motivator, what inspired you and, like Madia and the rest of the Axon team to do this. Give us a little bit of history about it. So Axon is like 5 years old, but what's the deal with Superfamilies Network? Tell us more.
Okay, so actually, I would say Axon Superfamilies Network is a natural process of, setting up Axon Children's Center itself. Because, when parents drop off their children, they'll be hanging around at the waiting area, talking about their challenges for the day. Sometimes as simple as like, my God, my car broke down, and then having all those arrangement needed because dah tahu dah nak kena kerja therapy and whatnot kan. And then also like even and that's for school, but about the therapy itself, it's not cheap to do therapy intervention packages. So it's a natural process whereby we found out that all these families have a common understanding yang macam this should not be a lonely journey lah kan. Dia macam bukanlah macam I seorang je struggle, saya orang lain pun struggle. So that's why we think that, and we decided that we should have like workshops to support these parents, which is actually what's kicked off this Axon Superfamilies Network last year. So we had a parents workshop, and we get parents to talk to each other. And actually, these parents actually tak perlu kami pun, they actually connected within themselves, because they meet at drop-offs and when they send their kids for therapy. So we thought like, why not we make it very intentional? Yang we get actual professionals to be part on this network so that we can support these families better. Because as much as you already know early intervention is important, but we know the family yang bawa, we yang coordinate all these sessions, they need that support too. As simple as my own personal experience lah. I think growing up with twin brothers, I tahu macam it wasn't easy for my parents. And then like people also being in a way asking like, what have you done to your child and whatnot, because at that point of time kita tak tahu pun apa yang sebaik ini untuk mereka at that point of time. But now that we have, like I said, we have all these resources, I sendiri rasa yang I am not doing this alone. I think I am very fortunate and blessed that I had an amazing support system, my family, my husband, and even the team at Axon itself. Like, we have like-minded individuals. From Mardia, he's actually an occupational therapist. Our chief operation officer is Ilya. She's actually a physiotherapist. So, we need these people to like you say, to help raise this village together. But at the same time, intentional in the sense yang kita make sure they are well informed. Sebab boleh je banyak village kan. Ramai orang dalam village tu, tapi semua tak betul. Kan, you know what I mean? So, I think that is one of the motivation to have this Axon Superfamilies Network. And since last year, we have conducted quite a few workshops from oral motor disorders, sebab neurodivergent tend to have sensory issues, kan, suka gigit and all that. Even my own son, by the way. And then we have a fussy eating workshop by the dietitian. And then we have super siblings workshop because, even the siblings are struggling. It's like, how do they cope with their siblings who are really not the same like them, and so on and so forth. So that's one of the things that we wanted to do with Axon Superfamilies Network, trying to bridge that gap between, not just the parents and professionals, but also in a way holistically supporting the children. Sebab kalau tak support the families, macam mana nak support the child? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so true.
Yeah.
And that's I think one of the things that we talk about at Kita Family all the time, and why we have consciously used the word family, right? That's right. Yeah, because you do have to support the family as a whole, because the family is trying to support their loved one who is there. I'm really digging the story. I also like how you said sebenarnya mak bapak ni semua dah get together. They actually didn't need you per se, but I think it's really cool. It's absolutely right that you decided to be intentional about it and become kind of like a pemuda cara lah, a facilitator to putting it all together. And then I think in a way you also make sure that inclusion piece, right? So no other family is going to feel left out, because not everybody is naturally friendly. Not everybody is going to maybe have the time at drop off, at pick up, to speak to somebody else. But that doesn't mean that they don't need the support either, right? That doesn't mean necessarily that they are not, looking forward to some shared experiences, with with other families who might be going through what they're going through as well. And then to, kind of kick off the discussions. I think we have, for us, the five of us personally, how meaningful that has been. Kan, Desiree?
Yes, yeah, definitely. And personally, I'm actually not the friendliest person. I don't make friends easily.
We cannot percaya. Every time she says that, we're all like,
And no one seems to believe me when I say that now, but I have my son Hans to thank for that, so he pushed me a lot out of my comfort zone, because I knew that while I do have my own family who love and support me and love Hans, to the moon and back, I also need, those yang sekasut lah, those who are going through it as I am, which is the families. And like you said, I think what the families need usually is each other.
Yeah.
Parents need each other, fellow parents need each other. And I'm sure, from Axon's perspective, you would have seen a gap somewhere. So, maybe let's talk a little bit about what are these gaps that you found that in the system, in terms of supporting parents of neurodivergence in the country, that made you come up with super families.
Well, I think it's something that all of us are facing maybe along the way in this journey, because maybe a lot of the organizations, there are a lot of organizations out there doing great work, the awareness is so much better these days, kan, orang cakap orang tak tahu. In fact, macam as simple as going to the airport kan, sekarang kalau nak naik flight, dia dah ada the butterfly program and whatnot. Tetapi sometimes I think what we found at Axon, sebab kita dah ada this network kan, kita dengar cerita from this parents, from this family, macam ada still working in silo, kan? Macam kita tak really come together. Yang kita cakap we are, but meeting halfway tu sebenarnya it's not as easy. It's easier said than done lah. So sometimes macam kita dah work hard with the intervention, tapi bila nak go to the next stage, nak pergi sekolah tak terima. And I think that's also my own personal experience. I think like we've been very hardcore with early intervention actually. I think like my son Rakit, doesn't have a free day. But then, bila kita dah nampak progress, tapi the next stage tu tak ada pula the acceptance. And then, sometimes macam, I would say that we are not trying to compete with others as well, kan? Kadang-kadang kita cakap like, we come from the center, learning semua. And then mungkin dia akan rasa macam, okay lah, tak apalah, dia remain lah at that center, kan? Sebab maybe you feel like that is better for you ke apa semua. But actually, we just want everyone to be on the same page. Yeah. Everyone to be on board, supaya kita get the best out of this journey together. But like I said lah, I think I guess you guys will agree. So it's easier said than done, kan? Sebab dia punya challenges tu vary for everyone. Some dia boleh buat, but then maybe financial barriers. And then some just having that support system from their own family pun tak dapat, kan? Macam mak je ke yang hantar, ataupun the father je yang hantar therapy. Tu pun another thing juga. So to overcome that, I think it's still something yang we at Axon is still trying to figure out. But that's why we have this Axon Superfamilies Network. Supaya macam maybe when parents share these challenges, kita tahu macam, oh okay, let's try to support on that fight lah, kan? Sebab sometimes kita ingat kita dah overcome a certain area, tapi rupanya ada lagi certain challenges yang maybe we could have worked together.
Always a work in progress, acting, right? So as we go along, we do what we can. So my husband is, he has this catchphrase of his, if I may call it, we do what we can when we can.
Exactly.
Right? And I think the more of us that do this, and like you said, it's not a competition, right? And the more centers we have for our kids is better.
Yeah.
Right? But everyone will also have to find their niche and strength. And I think at Axon, you have found the super families to be one of your main strengths, if I may say so, in addition to, of course, all the specialists and therapists that you have. So I just want to zoom in a bit on the stories maybe, right? So how have the families responded to it? What are some interesting stories that you have or examples?
Okay. Yeah. Well, because we've had quite a few, I would say each Axon Superfamilies Network session has been really profound, actually. In fact, last year at our annual Axon Adventure Day for last year, we invited Jaja Yusof and Arnie. I'm not sure. She's a daughter of Yes. So as you know, she has an autistic teenager son. So I remember just sitting front row, listening to her stories. She was telling about how her son was escaping from the house. I think maybe not intentionally, but maybe he wanted to go out. But then, he was lost, and then it took them hours to find him, but they did find him in the end. And I started sobbing so hard because just a few weeks before, my husband Nakik was locked in the car for nearly 2 hours.
Yeah.
He woke up in the middle of the night and he decided I think he wanted to try find something in the car, but the door auto closed. And, when that happened, of course, we all freaked out. My husband and I freaked out. Even just thinking about it. Yes. So, I don't know. Allah memang sayang Nakib. So, like kalau anak terbangun ke apa, sometimes you pun tak bangun sekali. But nak jadi, Allah dah aturkannya, I terbangun. I just bangun and then I tengok dia tak ada dekat katil. So, I was asking my husband who was on another bed, nampak tak Nakib? Oh, dia ada tadi. Lepas tu macam kita terbuka semua. So, and then kita cuba cari dalam kereta. Kita pergilah sana sini, call the guard and whatnot kan. I even called the police. But tiba, my husband found him. But we didn't cry. I didn't cry at that time because it was just too numb. But bila dengar Jaja shared about her stories, it just, yes. Yeah, so I think that's why it's really important to have this, network of families yang macam kadang-kadang kita pun rasa tak nak cerita pun about our struggles kan. Sebab, some people feel like bukan seorang ke, But bila kita dapat dengar cerita tu, dia rasa macam, okay, I think we're doing good. I mean, we try our best kan. So that's one of the things. That's why I love parenting forums. Even tadi pun we had one. In fact, one of our panelists is here, Dr. Iya. So she's the mom of East Emil. Undergraduate, UM undergraduate at the age of, I don't know if you guys have met yet, but so, she shared about, her journey as well. So, semua ni very, orang kata, walaupun maybe not as relatable because her son is gifted, but, about others, I think everyone is trying to find, something unique to support their children. And then just recently, I think I sempat bercakap dengan Desiree the other day, our most recent Axon Superfamilies Network workshop, we had our educational psychologist talking about, school placements for these neurodivergent individuals. So, bila habis session tu, we get to meet the other professionals yang sedang set up, also trying to work out about a shadow aid platform, which we are trying to also do through our Axon Superfamilies Network. So, platform ni memang sangat, orang kata, in a way pun intuitive pun ada sebab, they just connect us with more people, kan? And that's why it's a network. So, those are some of the things. I can go on really, Desiree.
Feel free to. We are here for you today for that.
Thank you. But yeah, so those are some of the stories, yeah.
So I feel when I heard you speak, this is where we start to think again about what is the importance of community. Now, kita ada keluarga, right? And also, I think most of us have family and friends, and you need your family and friends for sure. This is for everyone. But what is the difference in community, right? If you already have family, and you already have friends and a lot of friends, and you think, I'm all set, right? Why do I need anything more than that in terms of people? But community is very important because community is basically a group of people coming together with something that they share, right? And I think it comes along with that willingness to do something for each other in relation to that thing that they share. I mean, essentially that's what community is lah, kan? And community ni can be built around many things, right? So you can have a community where you live, antara jiran and things like that. And why? Because you all live in that same area. You have that shared purpose of wanting your place to be safe and nice and things, and that's something you share. And that's not the same as family dengan friends tau. So as you pointed out, sometimes in families, you have some people who shoulder extra responsibilities and it's on them. And they'll be there or in terms of their own role or in terms of how much they are able or willing to support you. And then you have people who are not doing much of anything at all in the context of maybe what you need, like maybe perhaps for your own child, right? And with friends, you've got friends who, no doubt are there for you and who love you, but they don't necessarily understand or know what you're going through. also, right? I mean, I remember the struggling and I'm thinking, actually, amongst my best friends, and I'm very blessed that I still have friends from my school days and school days all the way back to primary school tau. So that's like 40 years punya cerita. But, they have also expressed that they want to be there for you, but they don't necessarily get it. And you don't need everybody to fully 100% understand. But when you are going through something, especially kalau benda tu tanya susah, tanya kita nangis lah. It helps so much if somebody just understands you immediately or very quickly, right? Or you just say this one sentence and terus. That's it, dia faham. Kita pun tak payah cerita. Macam kadang-kadang it's like, that's the part, as you said, it's quite exhausting. It's like you don't necessarily want to share what you're going through, especially if cerita you tak best. Yeah. If it's very painful, if it's something that was, that can be really, really hard, it's not easy to talk about it, right? And you don't know if you want to talk about it, orang nak dengar ke? Dia macam, pun rasa kita pun kadang-kadang macam dah boring dengan cerita kita, tak tahu kalau orang lain pun nak dengar cerita kita. Tapi kalau kita tak bercerita, then macam mana kita nak dapat sokongan? Macam mana kita nak dapat feedback? Macam, it's like you cannot, all alone. And then, so like what you shared just now with what happened when you got to listen to that story and you had an opportunity to cry, I mean, alhamdulillah, because actually you needed that release. The human, like a human being as a person, we are made up of all these so many different parts, right? We have our physical side to ourselves, but we are also made of something that keeps us going, that we are alive. There's like a spirit or a soul to who we are. All these different things make up a human being, right? And it comes with emotions. And that is the part that you can't quite fully control, at least in terms of the feeling of it. And then you try your best to do what you do with it. But if you don't manage your emotions in terms of acknowledging them and giving them an opportunity for release, it's going to sit in there. It's going to get stuck. And, heaven forbid, you might end up getting sick.
Yes.
Because you keep it. I think all of us to some degree we have, right? And because the body keeps the score, you will, because we are all connected. We have many different aspects to us, to ourselves, right? We have our physical self, we have the emotional, whatever. But if you don't help your emotional side, then your physical side of yourself, you'll start to kick in. It will try to help you out. And then you end up falling ill, or you end up with these aches, pains, or whatever. I mean, it's very, very clear now. The science, research for everything supports how much stress contributes to illness. So many things. So you kind of need that release, right? So if you didn't have that opportunity to be in community, because you might not have been, open enough or comfortable enough in that moment for that release in front of your own family and friends. It needed to happen maybe at a point in time with somebody who will understand what you're going through, and you actually, opened up with that release because you connected with what that person was saying also. Kalau you cerita dekat, some of your friends or whatever to explain that why was it so hard for you to do something this morning, sometimes you can see the expression on that, brother's face ke sister, uncle, whatever, looking at you, trying to be patient. Macam they want to try to help you, but they don't get it. Their face is like, right? And empathy is not so easy to come by because it is really kind of a unique experience sometimes what's going on in your shoes. So community is really cool. So that's what came to my mind when you're talking about the Superfamilies Network. So I have a question. Not every center or school will do this, right? Official. In fact, you are only the second I'm hearing about of a school, a special school that has decided to have parents or family support group. So we know that this is not common, right?
Yep.
So I'm wondering, how is this in connection to like a PIBG or a PTA? Do you have that as well? Is there a difference? And how would you encourage some stuff that you can share a little bit? Because maybe not all schools have the resources to do a workshop, katalah, Okay, or maybe you will say, no, workshop very important. Cari bagaimanapun, do something or whatever. Tell us a little bit more about how it works at Axon in terms of these family groupings.
Okay. I think that's every center's challenge actually. I'm sure like we are not trying to be exceptional by just having this as on Superfamilies Network. I think other centers would have loved to have this kind of platform, but financially it's always something that is an obstacle. But I think, like I said, we try to work with other organizations as well. So I think we are very fortunate that we work closely with the Yayasan Riba Prima. And in fact, we just launched SAYAP 2.0. So where we set up a fund for subsidized therapy. Okay. So that also stems out naturally from Axon Superfamilies Network. Well, it doesn't fund the workshops with Axon Superfamilies Network, but this SAYAP fund actually is a platform for those who may need the extra financial support to only pay 14 ringgit per session for therapy. Yeah.
Wow.
So in my share, we just launched it last year. We just started it last year, SAYAP 1.0, and we managed to get 50,000 ringgit, but actually because they have wakalah zakat. And I think in matter hearing one of your episodes, I think DB mentioned about, Islam, they do have that allocation for OKU. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So Riba Prima has that. So we approached them and they gave us 60,000 ringgit. And to date, we were able to support 27 families for about 200 plus therapy sessions. Inshallah, this was amazing. Yes, and this morning we're launched for SAYAP 2.0. We're targeting 100,000 ringgit or even more if possible, of course, so that they can support even more families. We've had parents who come in today. I think some of them are in here as well. To share how much the sessions have really helped. In fact, some of them are even at PPKI already, but they still come here for that subsidized therapy because, it doesn't end, this journey about supporting these children. So, although mungkin dah habis part dah yang dekat sekolah, pasca ke apa semua, tapi bila masuk PPKI pun masih perlukan that therapy. So, that's how they get that. And some of these funds also, we try to see if it can be utilized during the Axon Superfamilies Network, meaning we sponsor the parents who come in the workshops.
Right.
So not all, but
So you work with somebody else. So you basically say kalau Axon seorang atau just the center mungkin tak dapat buat lah Superfamilies Network ni, tapi because niat tu dah ada, hasrat tu dah ada, you decided to see if there are any partners out there willing to support you supporting the families, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, if we are in the end, the network is not just for families pun. Sebenarnya, our professionals, our special needs educators, they need to see this, that we are actually supporting the community. Yang nampak effect. Sebab bila kita support the skill, dia nampak sendiri direct yang, the orang kata end product dia, outcomes dia, mereka pun motivated to go there. Sebab it's not also easy to be them. It's not easy to seeing session like student every day kan support me, and
They need support too. So our teachers and therapists who are also part of our big village community. And we've talked about this before. They need support as well.
yeah, they do. And some of them actually attend stay lah dalam workshops tu. So mereka pun boleh upskill, and then bila kita buat workshop tu, kita partner them with the parents and they hear it first hand. Okay, I tengah struggling semua. And then on their side pun macam, actually, I am trying to work out to support. But hearing you say this sendiri, I pun tahu, okay, kat mana we can meet halfway. So, those are the things that we try.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to turn you back to that PIBG PTA question. So this is just, also for other centers listening, right? Because maybe another center is listening and going, you know what? I also want to launch my group lah, yes, tell us a bit about that. Do you have one? How does it overlap? It doesn't. You don't have one? I don't know.
Maybe not yet. So, okay, at the moment, not yet. Because I think it's a bit I don't know, not tricky, tapi hard lah kot. Sebab as it is, as much as we want to remain sustainable, again, I think intervention or even schools these days are not that cheap. So, kita macam tak ada lagi lah that ruang untuk have that fund from parents themselves. So, PIBG tu tak ada lagi lah. But
the role of PIBG is not just to support the school, in terms of resources and financial, but I don't know, what do you...
Yeah. But I guess we can explore on that. But if you ask me kalau kami ada ke tak, belum lagi lah. But it's something to vacate to definitely. Because as much as we have had a few sessions of these Axon Superfamilies Network workshops, I think time and also, other commitments can also be a challenge for them to attend these workshops. So we haven't gotten to that part yang macam, that's actually buat untuk parents.
But you know what? I think you can argue to some extent that this is your version of a PIBG in a way.
Really?
Right? Because antara peranan dan antara, aktiviti apa semua tu memang macam bersesuaian lah. It overlaps with that too, right? And then you don't know what might happen. As you said, sometimes there's some things that happen a bit intuitively, and then there are things that happen that you didn't plan specifically.
Okay.
Maybe it can kind of grow from there, right? Because essentially it is a grouping of parents that are there together. You said that it was there for you to support them, but maybe, there's a way, because again, community, it works both ways, right? So they will maybe support you back, right?
Sure. I think you will definitely explore that. I think, in a way, thank you for the idea. Sebab, ni pun kita perlukan the parents to practice as well.
No, for sure. There's a partnership. Yeah, there's a partnership between parents and teachers at schools and the whole families together with the student. It's that it is actually a community building effort juga lah, whatever words that you want to use, like we've said collaboration, partnership, support, the network, I think all these things boil down to the same thing so that people can be together, right? And to find strength in a group versus maybe what they might be able to do only by themselves.
So, if I can reflect back on when you described Axon Children's Center, so it came across to me as giving children the experiences they would get in a regular school. So, super families ni, and what Nori said about PIBG, sebenarnya memang membuatkan Axon Children's Center macam sekolah biasa. So you have your own version of PIBG, you have your Hariskan, you have your, adventure day and whatnot. So you're basically creating that space that supports the community within Axon. So that's what came out to me as you were talking about PTA.
No, as a parent, I would love your version, because your version specifically says that the school has decided to organize this to support you better. Whereas usually the expectation is that a PIBG or a PTA is, please get together because the school needs you. Do you know what I mean? There's it's slightly different, but maybe with you all boleh buat dua tu. No, but in a way maybe you can, kind of find a way to have a balance and do both. Everybody looks after each other a little bit, right? Yeah. No, because I think the parents pun, to some degree, look, here also the research and the data is quite clear. Parent involvement in children's education equals better outcomes in terms of results, academic performance, student well-being, all this kind of thing. So parents ni, kita pun, even the ones who are very privileged, dapat pergi, hantar to really good schools or of course swasta ke macam mana pun, you will find that I would say the better schools are the ones who really want you to be involved. That means they are confident that they know how to manage you, being able to interact with them. Because kadang-kadang, there are some places where, let's face it, dealing with human beings is probably the most hard thing to do sometimes when you're talking about, relationships or whatever in general. And sometimes you feel like the less interaction, the better. Because you don't know what's going to happen. It's really hard, right? So if the school says, no, we want your involvement, you need to be here, that means they are confident about what they know what they're doing. They want you to know what they're doing. They want your input. Because I think they feel that they will know how to figure out, or at least have a discussion, and then after that you can figure out what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. But also I think the parents need to know that, you cannot just lepas tangan lah, and this is not just when you are a neurodivergent family. I think you just kind of just need to be there and just be involved as you can, right? As you can. And then if you cannot, because sometimes you sit and you go, oh my God, look at that PTA mom and the whatever, she does everything, and I tak dapat datang hantar kuih pun dekat sekolah I. It's not such a great feeling. But if you have a nice support system and you can kind of get to know each other, it's actually really nice that you can lean on that mom.
Yeah.
And say, you tengokkan anak I. And they'll be, jangan risau. Oh, you tak dapat datang? Okay, tak payah ambil gambar. It's that kind of stuff. It's just really helpful. And you can only build that when you get to know each other, right? So you do that, and yeah, parents, you have to, you got to, be a bit involved lah. You definitely have to be involved if it's a neurodivergent child. But honestly, I want to say the same thing. You have to be involved juga if you have a child.
Yeah.
So yeah, be there. Kind of your school is there for your kid, but I think you should try to support that school lah. I know we all think, and sometimes it really, I understand. You're like, I pay you so much fees already. I mean, come on, sort it out. Yeah, sort it out. But it's the person to person thing. Like even when you were talking about technology, and the theme of today, to me, the purpose of technology is to make, to facilitate certain things to be better, and one of them is connection.
Yes.
One of them is connection and communication, and to do things better with each other. That's the purpose of technology. It doesn't take over the role of me. I'm not going to get I know we can have conversations with your AI, Siri thing, whatever, whatever it is you have access to, but that's not going to replace your friend.
Yeah.
So the technology is not going to become your community. It should be a facilitator to community.
Connections.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also parents, play a very important role for all our children, right? Tak kisahlah neurodivergent ke, typical ke. And I was just having this conversation earlier today with a friend on how some children are neurotypical and, very academically inclined. Parents feel that they need to, fill their schedule with classes. So there's always that. For me, I always wonder, is it really filling their time up with things to do, or are you outsourcing your parenting? Right?
Yeah. The honest truth is sometimes I think we do, right?
Yeah,
what is the TV there for?
Exactly.
Hello. Kadang-kadang sikit-sikit tak apalah, but outsourcing it to that degree. Yeah, look, let's be honest lah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I want to pull us back a little bit to the PLA you mentioned earlier, right?
Yeah.
Personal Learning Assistance. And my understanding is Axon has some plans on this and expanding this as part of the Superfamilies ecosystem. So tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, so I think it stemmed from what I mentioned earlier, the children has been getting early intervention, dah dapat all this support and progress, tapi bila dah nak masuk sekolah tu macam ada that gap tu. Are they ready yet or not? So
it's a big jump.
Yeah, sebab it's not the same in clinics, which is one-to-one in general, and then tiba-tiba dah nak kena masuk in a class full of other kids yang sebenarnya belajar naturally compared to them yang very structured or a bit more
What's the oldest age kid at Axon? Or on average, basically?
From 7 years old.
Right.
Untuk that scale lah.
Okay.
Tapi therapy up to adults pun ada.
Right. But for the school, you are a preschool lah, basically, right? So that's why there's going to have to be a bit of a farewell and a big jump.
So that's our challenge at the moment. So that's why, we already have some graduates yang nak masuk mainstream, nak masuk inclusive, but they need the extra support still. So that's how we come about with this Shadow 8, platform. In a way, macam kita nak ada matchmaking sikit. Sebab Shadow 8 pun, usually, they can come from different backgrounds. Sometimes they're not even clinicians, but they are, passionate people who really want to support and contribute to this neurodivergent community. But at the same time, kita kena make sure qualified jugalah in some ways. So, what we are trying to do is, we are setting up this platform of module pun. So, they go some training first with us. We pun bagi mereka exposure to our children because these are the special needs children lah. And once they maybe has acquired that qualification and that skill tu, barulah kita kata okay, now you go and support these families.
What is a baseline requirement to sort of apply it or start to become a PLA in your view?
I would say that as long as at the moment, because like I said, the shadow aids, even from my own experience, dia lebih kepada have you actually handled special needs children before? Kan, neurodivergent individuals. Sebab kalau you don't even understand, how are you going to accept their meltdowns ke?
So you feel the experience is at least as or more important than some kind of qualification or paper qualification or macam mana tu?
Yeah, because I think it's a subjective question lah. Sebab sometimes dia tak tahu pun it's in them that they can support that. So sebab tu memang akan ada beberapa processes. In fact, the first round is actually an interview. Like, why do people want to be a shadow aid? Kan kena faham juga. And from there, kita akan guide and support them so that they can also, do their best in their role. And also, by doing it with us, we hope that they know that they have like a mentorship punya support juga lah. Sebab kalau you pun tak sure where you're going,
Yes.
kan, you nak share dengan siapa? So, I think that's what we're trying to achieve here by having that.
So what do you need? At least SPM or something at the tertiary level as just an entry point?
I think at the moment again it really depends on the interview punya output. Sebab tapi kan ialah handle technology. Sebab biasanya I think if you guys may agree, for someone who can afford shadow aids, mestilah someone yang very resourceful as well. This shadow aid trend, I know it trend juga lah, sebab I think it's starting to pick up. People are starting to like really look out for this PLA.
Yeah, and tak cukup.
So dia mestilah parents yang memang dah try their best avenues and platform untuk reach out. So kalau you pun tak berapa qualified, susah juga lah nak meet expectations. Because it's not the same like having a babysitter and a shadow aid. Kan?
Yes, I think it's important because sometimes certain people who go into retirement age, and I've seen this many times before, someone who's retired but no experience with special needs children and not so tech savvy, suddenly decide, oh, I want to help special needs children, I want to be a shadow aid. So I can understand where that's coming from. Again, not discouraging people like this. We definitely need more people like you out there. Retirees coming and working these out, rolling out. Yeah. Yeah. So everyone has a place, but let us find that appropriate place where everyone fits.
Or like, just know that it will require a little bit of upskilling lah.
Yes.
And which will be good for you too. I think it will, inshallah, it will benefit. Yes, yeah. Quality of life, that just improve because you've upskilled yourself. And there's so many different types of learning platforms, right, that people can avail themselves of. And so then that would address the group that you said. They have a wealth of experience from age, from working before, and then now that they're retired and they're thinking, okay, maybe semi-retirement and I want to do this. I think if they put in that effort to upskill, to be able to do this kind of job, or even just, some kind of volunteering kind of thing, or to be involved in maybe katalah your Superfamilies Network dulu, in a way, right? To get to know and all this stuff, then they could still do it. Yes, but I think you are definitely right to mention that. The intention is so big, it's so important, and I think having the heart to do it, for me, is almost like the first step, but so that it's complete, or that it would be, better, you cannot just jump into it just with your good intentions, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, how far can it bring you anyway, kan? Right. Sebab macam saya cakap juga, even as professionals pun have our moments, have our days. Ini yang memang nak kena ikut semua ni. So, of course, I think definitely some skills needed juga lah. And we hope to support through this Shadow Aid platform. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So we've talked quite a bit from, about Axon and the great work that you do with Superfamilies, talked about PLAs, we've talked about SAYAP, which is an acronym, by the way. It stands for Social Aids for Young Aspirants. So it's called SAYAP, which I think is a great program. Thanks for doing that. So I think we've come to that time where we need to start wrapping up and get our closing statements and thoughts for the day. I think we'll do questions offline. So if anyone has any questions for us, sesiapa ada apa-apa soalan untuk kami bertiga, silakanlah lepas ni, please, catch us on our way out or ask us on our way out. Or you can always put it on our social media accounts, Kita Family Podcast, and even on Axon. And I'm sure we will all find the time to reply to those questions of yours. Yeah. So let's wrap up today's session. It's been amazing, I must say, and very grateful to Axon and all the wonderful work that you're doing. So let's wrap up with what's our hope. I'm going to use the word ours because we are all part of the same community. What's our hope for the future of community-based support in Malaysia?
Okay. I would like you as our partner and guest to have the last word. So I'm going to put my thing. And also, Kita Family likes to do this. Quite a number of episodes. And if you've seen them, we sometimes will put a wish list out there lah. I'm going to put my wish list to you, Nadirah. Okay. I would like to see if you are willing to, in some way, expand your Superfamilies network to maybe network with other support groups. I'm hoping that that's something that can happen. Because one of my earlier questions was, Superfamilies network ni untuk Axon je ke? Is it just an Axon thing and it's already in existence since last year and it's also just for Axon and, and to which I was told, yes, at the moment, right? But maybe, some aspect of it, right? So maybe you might not be able to open up the workshop part to all the time to people beyond, the Axon families. But, we want to share. I think we've spoken about it a teeny tiny bit, but we haven't said so much because we need to get the better dates in place. We need to, and a lot of it is kind of on me. It's going to be connected, inshallah, to the BRTS Kids Gym, which is the inclusive indoor center that, I run and work on, and that's where we initially met. Kita Family is also hoping to do our own, family support or community support group, right? So maybe we can do something together.
Of course. Definitely.
Yeah. This is the community support in action.
That's right. So more collaborations. That's amazing. And I think, like what you say, this is only the second center that you heard about on this season. But why should it be the second?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Let's do both to actually come together for this. And itulah kalau you tanya harapan ni, memang banyak sangat harapan. So macam kita nak buat sebenarnya. But I think it's always that we hope that people are seeing this platform as more of a collaborative opportunities. Okay? Kita mungkin tak nampak sekarang tapi kita boleh collaborate together. But maybe on other things as well. I think we're always open and not see us as a competition or just trying to be an extraordinary center. No, I think we just really want to be supporting everyone here as much as possible. Of course, we start small sebab macam you cakap, with Axon, team or families first. But of course, we're actually reaching out to Cyberjaya community and even further outside. So,
let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll come for you. We'll come for one of your Superfamily Network thing beyond today. And then we will invite you back to come and hang out with us.
Yes, we see. Yeah, so, as we always say, there's a village to raise a child, but I think it's really important that this village is something that the children can believe me. Okay?
Absolutely.
Dia bukan macam solok-solok buat tapi
that's true.
That they can count on it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Our children have to be able to count on this.
Yeah, it's real. No, it's been so great. Thank you so much, really, for having us. I mean, it's just been
so smooth and natural.
Oh, you are. So seriously, you are. It's been so nice to see, and then there's some familiar faces in the audience. Where's Julie? Anyway, we are really grateful for the opportunity. I think on my part and our three sisters who are not here with us, we just want to extend, our best wishes to you, and that, we will do more stuff together. And let's see what else can happen from our growing community, inshallah, right? Yeah.
And remember, everyone, you heard it here first on Kita Families Podcast that we will be collaborating more with Axon Children's Center. And I just want to wrap up today by saying that our community of parents, care partners of neurodivergence in Malaysia, we are already quite supportive, and we always show up for each other, and I remember the first episode that we recorded and at KL Court Fest, we were the newbies, we were the only ones who were doing a pilot live on a topic that no one ever did before.
Yeah.
And we were so worried, and then Nori was the one who said, don't worry guys, our community always shows up for us.
Yeah. No,
And they did.
true. I think we really do. That's the beauty of this is something, I don't know if you have not seen it yet. Those of you with families, your I'm just gonna say it for today, anak syurga, and the blessing that you received and what you've got. One of them is like some of these really, really cool things. I think we are as soon as we sort of buy in or step into that community, we kind of do quite a bit for each other. Yes, you're right, Desiree. It just happens. Whatever that channel or platform, I mean, we started some of our work on Clubhouse, of all things, in the middle of COVID. But just different things, which is why also that pick-up drop-off thing also happened. But it just in many forms, because I think we understand how much it takes from this journey. We understand so much how much it takes. We are so appreciative when somebody is willing to help. Like, kita pun naturally willing to also help. I think that just sort of happens, This might be another gift from the Almighty, right?
Thank you for being our voices, actually. It's not, something that people can commit. Nak cakap kaki kan.
But it's okay. There are other people who do other things that we cannot do.
Very sad.
So we all do our bit. Yeah, tak apa.
So with that,
Thank you. Terima kasih. And once again, thank you Axon Children's Center for sponsoring this episode. Thank you everyone for being here today, and our listeners and those watching us on YouTube. Thank you very much. We're on YouTube and Spotify. Don't forget to like, share and follow. We are also on TikTok, Facebook and Instagram. Terima kasih and salam sejahtera from Kita Family and Axon Children's Center. Okay.